Greetings, fellow countrymen and women. Today, we want to address the media, the nation, on several issues happening in the nation. Today, I'll be addressing the nation together with my colleague, Honorable Binwa Mpundu, the Presidential Affairs Chairperson for Honorable President Brian Mundubile, the incoming President of the Republic of Zambia. To begin with, we want to address the issues related to elections. We've got concerns as to how the Electoral Commission of Zambia has failed to inform our agents on time with regards to the arrival of ballot papers within the districts. We had an earlier agreement with the Electoral Commission of Zambia that the district electoral officers would be informing our agents and our candidates on time with regards to when they expected to receive the ballot papers. An area of concern that the Electoral Commission of Zambia must act on almost immediately. We need to ensure that we maintain the level of integrity, transparency, and accountability in the process of delivery of the electoral material, as well as the ballot papers. Our members have really complained that the district electoral officers, the DEOs, have not communicated on time, or they are not in fact communicating as to when they are expecting to receive the electoral materials. So we are concerned. The Electoral Commission of Zambia must ensure they communicate effectively with regards to that, because speculation is ours to have, as a matter of fact. The second issue we want to address is the issue in which electoral officers or officials or polling agents or assistants were employed by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. We saw a list being made, a list that does not have names of individuals that were brought into public office to run our elections. Unfortunately, we only saw NRCs. In the spirit of transparency and accountability, the Electoral Commission of Zambia must tell the Zambian people why they decided to hide the names of individuals that they have employed. Or perhaps, what is it that they are scared of? Because realistically, elections must be a public function. In a democratic society such as ours, elections must be a public function. We don't expect, or we did not expect, that for the first time in the history of this country, the Electoral Commission of Zambia has decided to recruit poll staff and decided not to put their names against the NRCs of people that have been appointed to conduct a very, very sacred duty of maintaining our democracy. So the Electoral Commission of Zambia is today challenged to ensure that within a few minutes or a few hours or a few days, they must inform the Zambian people the actual names, and the actual list must be given to the Zambian people. We have since written to them through our lawyers, and we have demanded for complete disclosure of the lists of poll staff. We know of the machinations that are there by the UPND to try and put political cadres, non-political cadres, to manage our elections. But I think it's only fair that in the process, even the Zambian people should know which political cadres these are. They should know who is playing with the democratic rights of the Zambian people. They should know who is going to attempt to defranchise Zambians. I think it's extremely important to speak to these issues and speak to them in the strongest terms. Furthermore, we wish to also give marching orders to our members and observers in areas such as the swamps of Chilubi Island. They must watch out because we've got intel and intelligence that there are some foreigners that may be brought in to come and vote. And perhaps we don't know how they may have obtained their voters' cards and NRCs. So we want to give marching orders for our colleagues and our members in areas such as the swamps of Chilubi Island to be very observant and very vigilant. Areas such as Isoka, we want to urge our members to be very vigilant because we've heard that Tanzanians may have had our voters' cards and our NRCs. Areas such as Vubwi, information we have is that we may have Malawans with the voters' cards from Zambia and NRCs. Areas such as Chavuma, information we have is that we may have Congolese with voters' cards and NRCs from Zambia. Ikeleng, we've been informed that we may have Congolese that may have NRCs and Angolans. Yes, even Angolans, yeah? And Angolans. So, colleagues, we have given marching orders for us to be very vigilant and ensure that we protect this democratic process. The country is at a stage when the Zambian people have decided already that the people's president currently is Brian Mundubile. And I think the voice of the Zambian people should not be silenced in any way. We have indicated that it shall be by the ballot. And we are removing Hakainde Hichilema in the next 10 days through the ballot in a peaceful manner, and these elections shall be peaceful, whether Hakainde likes it or not. So, colleagues, from a few items that I've indicated, I would want to give an opportunity to my colleague to also address the nation before I address the last two items.
Thank you so much. Just like my colleague indicated, through you, the media, we want to continue updating the nation on some of the developing stories or issues that are of concern to us as NRPUP. And of course, we believe that these should also be issues of concern to the nation as well as our cooperating partners. The first issue I wish to speak to is the alleged abduction of our friends. You are aware, colleagues, that on our campaign trail, we've suffered violence at the hands of the UPND. We started our campaign, journey from the Eastern Province into Muchinga, Northern Luapula. We went into the Copper Belt and the Northwestern Province. Throughout this journey, we have been attacked by the UPND in a number of districts. We therefore decided, as a matter of precaution, in trying to save, or protect the life of our presidents, President Mundubile and President Makebi, to have individuals within our ranks and file to go and get specialized training in protecting our presidents. It is a normal practice that those that are going to protect our presidents must have some skill around them. And so we sent individuals into Russia to be trained in physical protection. Interestingly, you need to know, VVIP protection, physical protection, you can't just send every Jim and Jack to go and protect your incoming president. And that is why a decision was made that individuals are selected and sent to go and receive this important training. This was an open issue. There was no secrecy around it. They left through our international airport. They were returning through the international airport. As we speak now, these individuals are missing. In short, they have been abducted. Now, abduction has been a story of the day since the UPND came into power. I think this is not a new story. We are aware of the story of Black Apple was abducted by mercenaries within the UPND, Kalufianya and group. We are aware of so many, Zambians that have been abducted either by suspected state agencies or rogues within the UPND structures. So our colleagues, Gideon Kalopa, Victor Muziamba, and Dixon Tembo are missing as we speak. These are people we sent to get trained into VVIP protection of our presidents. They are missing. When they returned into the country through the KK International Airport, unknown individuals picked them up and we do not know where they are now. We have every reason to believe that this has got something to do with the state. If the state is not involved, then we have every reason to believe that the rogue elements within the UPND are the ones who are holding our colleagues hostage. Now, this must be a grave matter of concern for everyone who loves peace, for everyone who loves justice. We are appealing to the international community to get involved in these matters because for so long we have been complaining about abduction of citizens. This trend has continued, and we believe this is the last kick of the dying horse. We are also aware, we also have a catalogue of supporters of Brian Mundubira and Makebi who are being held in detention, like Kennedy Kamba, on flimsy accusations. We are aware of pursuits around some of our supporters like Simi Kalobo, and his brother, Honorable Pavuma Kalobo. Again, all these are attempts to try and hold on to some of these individuals who are critical to our campaigns. So we are appealing to the leadership, President Hakainde Hichilema. These matters must concern you, sir, as well. If citizens are going to be abducted in the manner that they have been abducted over the last 5 years, it must concern you as head of state. And so we are demanding that whoever is holding these individuals, they must state why they are holding them, because they were picked right at the airport, at KK International Airport. If we are not informed why they have been picked, we have every right to believe they've been abducted. The next issue, fellow citizens, today we are traveling into the Western Province. From there, we are concluding our campaigns into the Southern Province. I wish to inform you, the citizens, that you are, of course, something that you are already aware. We just concluded our tour of the Copper Belt Province as well as the Northwestern Province. Unfortunately, this trip was not pleasant, as we have suffered the worst form of violence on the Copper Belt and in the Northwestern Province. I did speak to the media when we were on the Copper Belt of the violence we were subjected to. Interestingly, some of this violence was being aided by the police. The public is aware of the altercation I have personally had with police officers on the Copper Belt, including officers like Yui Mwaya, who unfortunately has traveled to the moon and back, contrary to how he wished me to travel to the moon and back. Again, this must be a concern to all of you as citizens, because election must be about setting your agenda for the people of the country. It must not be, a time for you to intimidate those of, or colleagues that are competing with you. This must also be a concern for the international community, the observers who are in the country. And we're challenging the observer missions who are in the country. If there is violence, the elections cannot be credible, because violence will scare away voters. Violence would scare away those who should ordinarily be campaigning and engaging citizens. The violence being, occasioned by the UPND is skillfully, schemed to ensure that we don't campaign. And we believe that even on the election day, we believe that these rogue elements within the UPND are going to inflict so much pain on our people in an attempt to ensure that our people stays away from voting. The reason is very simple. These guys knows that they are going, and the only way they would want to force their will on the people is to scare would-be voters, is to scare off competitors by inflicting this pain. This violence is a reason why many people said no to PF. This should also be the reason why Zambians must reject the UPND. We, the people of this country, love peace. We detest violence. This political party called UPND has got nothing to offer other than violence. And you have seen it on camera. You don't have to be told. It's not propaganda, as our friends have been in the habit of propagating. You have watched it on your screens. You have seen it on social media. The violence is not in one area. It's widespread. As we go into the Western province, we want to appeal to the Westerners. We know the Westerners as peace-loving people. Please do not fall prey to these elements that wants to sponsor innocent young people to go and cause violence. We are appealing to the leadership of the province to appeal to the young people, not to be used as mercenaries in the scheme that has been devised by the UPND to go out and attack, President Brian Mundubile and his running mate and the entourage. So we are going into the Western province today. We'll be there for 3 days, starting tomorrow up to Thursday, and we connect into, the Southern province. The other issue, fellow citizens, is that you have seen our friends have continued on the scheme of destabilizing the opposition. Throughout this campaign period, all they've known is to buy, candidates off, to threaten candidates and forcing them to withdraw. They started these schemes when PF was still intact. They managed to, disintegrate the PF through these schemes. They are now here in an attempt to come and destabilize the NRPUP that is in an alliance with the RP. You have seen that they've gone and convinced, one of the leaders within the RP, obviously in, their attempts to come and cause confusion. Our appeal to all the members, both from the RP and NRPUP, do not engage in conversations around this matter. No one is allowed to comment on these issues, particularly issues of the happenings in RP, without authorization. Any communication shall be done within the leadership or through the leadership. For us, we believe that the moment we entangle ourselves in these conversations, we are going to set our eyes off the target. Our eyes must remain firmly on the ball. So all the sympathizers of the NRPUP and RP must remain resolute, as the party is, resolute, and we must fix our eyes on the ball. The ball is to ensure that President Brian Mundubile is elected, whether there's going to be NRPUP or there's going to be RP on the ballot. Our agenda is to ensure that we vigorously go and campaign for President Brian Mundubile. So all these machinations that are going to come, they are part of the grand scheme of the UPND, whose scheme is not to sell their agenda of development, but just to cause confusion, either through violence or through manipulating, the players, in the game, either buying them or threatening them. So these issues are very important, fellow citizens, and we must pay attention. And we are appealing again to the international community. These issues we are speaking to have got the potential to discredit the credibility of the elections. And so international observers must pay attention to all these schemes. Buying off candidates is not democracy. Intimidating candidates is not democracy. Sponsoring confusions within rival camps is not democracy. But this has become the norm of our friends. And so our appeal to the members, no one should speak to the issue of the RP and the happenings unless you are authorized. That's why you've seen the Secretary General Zumani, Secretary General Celestine. These are the only ones that should speak to these issues, because when you speak to this issue, you may actually send the message that we don't want you to send. So we have sent circulars enough to guide our people to refrain from commenting. Whether you are in the country or you are in the diaspora, we have a system of operation within the NRPUP and the RP. Communication shall be done through, the people that are mandated. And with me are 2 Secretary Generals that are mandated to communicate any such important information. I thought that it is important to remind our friends of these very important issues.
Yeah, thank you very much. And right this moment, we are joined by Secretary General Comrade Dr. Zumani. And of course, I will let him speak to the issue of the NRPUP donation platform, one that has been seen as the most revolutionary idea in this campaign. And I think one that has enlightened many Zambians as to how popular President Brian Mundubile is. So, Comrade, Doc, perhaps you can speak to the issue of the NRPUP platform.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. As my colleagues have indicated, the NRPUP and the BM donation platform is an official platform where President Brian Mundubile is inviting supporters, our members across the country and in the diaspora, to contribute and support his campaign and consequently his victory next week. It is a platform that has received overwhelming support, positive support countrywide. And as indicated yesterday, you are aware that from the time it was launched by the President and also through us as Secretary Generals, you discover that the Zambian people, the farmers, the miners, the teachers, the nurses, the youth, the women, all different stakeholders across the country participated positively in terms of providing their donations, to the extent that by yesterday, exactly 15 hours, 24 hours from the time it was launched, we had received more than 860,000 cash, nearing to 1 million Zambian kwacha. That is the type of response and endorsement President Brian Mundubile is receiving from the Zambians. We had by yesterday at 15 hours in excess of 2.8 million kwacha into pledges pending to be turned into donations this week. However, we face the setback. Our service providers shut the system down. Arbitrary and unilateral, we need to put it on record, because as NRPUP, we have a contractual obligation with the aggregators. However, our team worked 24/7, and as we speak today, and as we speak now, the NRPUP donations platform is actively running and receiving donations. So our members countrywide and in the diaspora, you can make your contributions to the mobile money, the Airtel, the MTN, and the Zamtel line using the same platform. Even the Visa platform is also working. You discover that you can also dial the number on any phone. You can make your contribution by dialing the code. That is the plus. Okay, this is a new one. Yeah. So we have a new one. Okay. So we have a new dial system or code we are using now, given that we have changed the aggregator from the one we have been using from the time we launched to a new aggregator, and you can contribute effectively through star 848 star 7 0 4 7 2 8 star, then you put the amount, let's say 200 or 100 or 50 or 1,000. After the amount, you put hashtag, and then you send. You'll be donating directly to the NRPUP President Brand Mundubile Campaign Fund. I'll repeat the new dial code for you to contribute. It is star 848. Another star 70472 star, then you put the amount you want to contribute, let's say 200, 1,500, then you put hash and you send. If you follow that process in terms of the dial code, you'll be contributing to the NRPUP BM campaign fund. So we have good news for the supporters of Brand Monduvile and MZ that the campaign platform on social media is running, and you can contribute either on MTN, Airtel, Zamtel, or indeed the Visa line. So we also have you can also donate in crypto, in US dollars.
USDT.
So the USDT is TRC20. TRC20. It's in brackets. And that is for our crystal donation in USDT. I think from our end, that is the only update we can give.
Maybe SG. Yes. Maybe SG, just for the sake of clarity, fellow citizens, we have seen our friends, our competitors, the UPND, mocking us over these contributions. Okay? Now, by standard practice, campaigns or elections are a sponsored activity. Everywhere you go. Correct. I am a living example, and I've said this through my platforms. When I was campaigning, I had a zero balance in my account. It is well-wishers that came on board to give me the millions that I used to campaign. It is a standard practice everywhere for followers of a particular candidate to come together and contribute. Yeah. Even rich people like Donald Trump. Yeah. You know, all of you colleagues, that Donald Trump is rich. He doesn't need anyone to sponsor him. But you know how he was bankrolled by Elon Musk and many others. Yeah. You know how Barack Obama was, funded through these donations. It is a known practice that a candidate does not remove money from their pockets. They are actually sponsored by the people that believes in them. Our friends who are now mocking us by UPND, they are serious hypocrites. Yeah. You are all aware as citizens that by UPND, tempia shakwa HH babomfia. By UPND, throughout the 23 years they've been in opposition plus the 5, they've been sponsored by well-wishers. How is it that today the head of state can go mocking the very platform that he has been using to push himself into power? It speaks to our adage in my language, or commonly known, that you go cross a bridge and you go and cut that bridge. Or you find a well with clean water, you drink of that and then you leave poop in that water. That is basically what the UPND are trying to do. Because how do you mock an initiative of raising money? Because citizens, when you, the citizens, sponsor Brand Mundubile, he is indebted to you and nobody else. Yes. What is happening today is that by UPND have entangled themselves in corrupt deals. You heard not long ago of the scandal at ZNS, where cadres were sharing meal, purporting to be agents. In the end, 1 year down the line, umuntu alipoke mpia 77 million worth of meal. Meal today, Bane, is cash in your hand. It is a sought after, commodity. When somebody gets that meal, tomorrow is expected to go and pay back. But cadres in the UPND have shared millions and millions. What do you think has been happening? They've been using such schemes to fundraise. That is why today the UPND can afford to pay almost every other influencer with thousands and thousands of dollars. Why? Because they are now basking in fraud, or rather corrupt money. Yeah. That is why we are also aware that there are mining companies that are bankrolling the UPND, just like they did in 2021. We know of the Mahindras they got from some mining companies. What did they do in the end? They had to give those mining, or rather mining companies, our mines. For us, we want President Brian Mundubile to be sponsored by you, so that is only indebted to you and not the foreign elements. Yeah. Because we also have the capacity. We can go today, the three of us in different directions out of the country, and we can raise money. But the challenge is, if we raise money, nobody gives money for free. Okay? If we were to go to foreign elements to get donations or sponsorship, chances are that they will be making demands that will be at your detriment. So for us, we believe that we are magnanimous enough to come to you and say, help us. Help us in protecting your votes, because that's the only thing that is remaining. Protection of votes. And I want to warn the UPND, we are watching every one of your moves. We will not allow anyone to manipulate the will of the people. That I can guarantee you, because we know that we don't have any lives after this election. If these, Awaba Sakaranyongo, they win the election, we know that we are not going to have it easy. That is why for us, the will of the people shall prevail, and the will of people can only be guaranteed if you, the citizens, get involved in securing your vote. Winning the election is not just voting, it's also protecting your votes. So this donation issue is sacred to us, because we want you, the Zambian people, to own the President Brian Mundubile project. It must be you to vote. It must be you to raise money, because then the president will be indebted only to you and nobody else.
And just in addition to that, you see, we have on several forums indicated that President Brian Mundubile is the people's president. And we have continued to repeat, he remains your president. You are the one who have decided that Brian Mundubile should be here with us. Remembering that he has equally indicated that, colleagues, let's allow each and every Zambian to participate in the process of this election by also making a contribution. It doesn't matter what contribution it is, even a 1 kwacha, it will still go into the campaign. You will be part of the process. Just to also indicate, when you open the link, for those of our colleagues that are in the diaspora and those that are within, and you want to remain anonymous perhaps, there is a USDT wallet. Yeah, this is cryptocurrency. When Msokotwane can't know about this. So there is a cryptocurrency wallet, a USDT wallet. The address is there. You can equally donate using that address. So as indicated, that donation will come straight to the Brian Mundubile and NRPUP Makebi Zulu campaign. So we'll be able to receive that. And of course, like indicated earlier, yesterday, in fact, President Mundubile was thanking every one of you people in Zambia and abroad for the overwhelming support that you have given him. And we really appreciate your support. We don't take it for granted. And we are making this undertaking that the wealth of the Zambian people shall be taken care of. The lives of the Zambian people shall be taken care of. The rights of the Zambian people shall be respected. The constitution of the Zambian people will be respected by everyone when Brian Mundubile is president. Unless there are any questions, colleagues, from the media.
Joseph Chimba, coming from grassroots media. I heard on a mention about some foreigners who intend to be part of the voting this coming on 13. What message do you have for those foreigners in case we have people who are thinking to come and vote in Zambia when they're not Zambians?
Let me answer that. We are sending a message to all you Zambians, allow them now.
Just so that you don't misquote the presidential affairs.
Nangubachite misquoted one.
On the issue of foreigners. On the issue of foreigners, just so that you don't misquote him, he has indicated that we are not going to allow foreigners to vote. Those that will attempt to get to polling stations and our alert citizens know that this person may not be Zambians, they may be required to prove that they are Zambian. So you must know, colleagues, this is a very serious election. We're dealing with the lives of many millions of Zambians that are suffering today. We've got a leader today, Comrade SG, who can stand in front of Zambians and mock them that wakuta chimbala, and you think you can be president. You are asking Zambians that you have impoverished. Today, President Hakainde should be ashamed of himself. He's the one that is making us to start eating chimbala. He's the one that is making us impoverished. And you should stand, you are even laughing, hey, wakuta chimbala. Bwana, you must know you have put us in this position. You have made the Zambian people suffer. And because of that, we are voting you out. And the Zambian people have already decided. On the 13th, Hakainde Nkuya Bebel.
Celestine, ushe Hakainde, CBU tabachitepo donate some money kuli Hakainde. Yeah, nomination.
Lero mwambo
Kwali ba hypocrisy muchalo ayi. Because abayichaba pa school donated 100,000. So umuntu wina omwa abayichaba abana aba pa school. Bamupera 100 pin lero wale chitamo ku donation. Ona imwe yama na imwe ibwele nimo.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much, countrymen and women. Unless there is any other question.
Another question?
Yes. I'm Roland from Montego. I'd just like to get a confirmation on the alleged abducted people that were trying to protect the president. Just confirmation, since we have also appealed to the states to
Okay. What is the question?
Confirmation on the number of the people that are abducted. So
Okay.
we spoke to the 3.
Yes. As my colleagues indicated, the number is 3. That's the official number we have received as we speak now. And we're sticking to that same number. It can be 3. In case we get more information, maybe it can come to 4. But they don't exceed that 5. These are people who have been abducted, as my colleagues have indicated, or have been detained. But these are people who are sent by the party for physical protection training, for VVIPs. So it's a normal training, and that there's no need to have them detained, because they can prove that they were lawfully out of the country, and they lawfully came back into the country. They didn't go through a border illegally. They didn't try to sneak, but they were using the airport. So as far as we are concerned, these are innocent Zambians, just like any other person who went out of the country lawfully and they came back with all documentations. So the number is 3 from the information we have received.